Take my hand and we'll go away to a different place. Float on air and we'll hide away. I'll be your escape. Look up and feel the shifting winds tossing us around again. Hold tight, you're ready to begin. And just levitate. No control over where we go, but we don't care to know. Ignorance is bliss. Your tears are gone, and they drifted back from where they came, and they will not be missed. Look up and feel the shifting winds tossing us around again. Hold tight, you're ready to begin. And just levitate.
All right, so we are live on Facebook, and I saw some thumbs up, so give me some more thumbs up there on Facebook just to make sure the sound is great. Thank you, and you guys are great on the VIPs. So Mike Guthrie, I had no idea this whole kiss thing going on. What? I mean, like, seriously, I'm like, and that guitar back there. I might need to hear some, a little, definitely at the holiday party, for sure. I didn't know anything about it, but for sure. Maybe you could even put on a star on your eye or something for the, the makeup and everything. We got to see it, right? Who else would love to see Mike Guthrie jam out and do a little kiss tune or something at the holiday party? Yeah, there we go. Facebook is blowing up. I love it. So how's everybody doing? Hey, Ruth and Kwande and David, how are you guys doing? Brian's on, Venkat, Cody. All right, people are tuning in. And who do we got here? We got Gagan Horia checking in from Silicon Valley. All right, this is awesome. So excited for you guys. Day 5. I mean, how many people here did their homework last night? I'm just curious. You guys figure out your markets? Why don't you put out, let everybody know what markets you're thinking about, or for sure which ones you want to hit, or which ones you want to explore, and let's see what we can see what we want to see. If anybody's in the same type of markets, maybe you guys can talk to each other, and collaborate a little bit. So would be interesting to see. Okay, we got Ohio, and what do we got here? Well, there's Hello France Calderon from Charleston. Okay, So are you going to stay in the market in Charleston, or where are you looking? Rick from Bristol, Tennessee. How's the Tennessee market, Rick? Are you thinking of looking there? So post what are some of the markets you guys are honing in on and thinking about? All right. So we got Brett, DFW, Jacksonville, Florida. Awesome. All right, we got DFW, Atlanta, Florida, DFW, Texas. All right. All right, Brian Williams, nice to see you. Rick McGeaney, Bristol, Tennessee, Kingsport, Johnson City. Great. That's where it all starts, you know. You guys start making decisions, you're putting it out there, you start to get more clarity, more focus. That's how things start coming in. If you're all over the place and you haven't decided yet, well, it's hard to kind of manifest what you really want if you're just kind of dreaming of one day doing it. So the more specific you can be, the better. And what else we got here? New Mexico, Tennessee, Arizona, and Georgia. Awesome. All right, Wisconsin, Florida, Colorado, Texas. Keep it up, you guys. This is awesome. I love it. And who else do we have joining us? Jerry Ducombs. Hello. That's a cool way to spell your name. Just noticing that. So hi, Tammy. So we're going to bring Brad out soon, but I do want to make sure that you guys have been doing your homework and staying focused and taking all your steps, and then we're going to get the energy going because, you know, Brad feeds off of y'all's energy. So, you know, when he sees everybody blowing up the Facebook and that, you know, you're on and you're excited and ready to go, thumbs up, hearts, you guys are shaking, you know, getting everything in your body. So are you guys ready for day 5? I'm not sure I believe you yet. Are you guys ready for day 5? Let's go! All right, we see the Facebook blowing up. We got Brad starting to come out here soon. He's feeling the energy. He's not believing you just yet. He's still waiting. He wants a little more energy out of you guys. Come on. For those of you at home that he can see you standing up, he wants to see you excited. And I love all the hearts coming in on Facebook. Yes. You guys keep it going. We are going to have an amazing day today, and you guys are going to have an amazing life. So I'm so excited for you to put all of this together. We're tying in all the framework. Day 5, the mastery of it all, right? What's next? Oh, Ruth's got her pom-poms. I love it. Let's bring it out. Let's keep this energy going, guys. Brad is ready. He's ready, but he needs to see more energy. Let's go. Let's get them pom-poms going. Woo-hoo! I love it. All right. You guys think about those markets and imagine yourself having a deal in that market. If you pick 3, pick 1. Just go, boom, this is the one. I have 3 in mind, but I'm going to get my first one, boom, right here. This is it. And it's just going to come, okay? All right, you guys. Put all that good energy, and if you're out there ever thinking about the money, and oh my God, if I get a deal, and then what about the money? Just know it's all coming in the right time. Everything that you need is happening for you in this life, and it's all going to happen at the right time. And you just remember, always have that positive energy because that's what's going to keep attracting it to you. So forget any of the negative things, any of the fears. It's all about the good energy and attracting it to your life. Hey, Mike O'Reilly, how are you? All right, Tammy. All right, you guys, are you ready? We got one more spurt of energy. If you got anything left in me, shake it up because Brad's coming out here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brad Sumrock! Woo!
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Come on, everybody, it's Mastery Day. It's the last day. Let's go! Let's go now. Let's go now. Let's go now. Let's go now. Blow it up. Let's go now. 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 All right. Boom. All right, let's go. Okay, everybody, congratulations. This is day 5 of the Apartment Investor Mastery Challenge. And those of you that are here today on a Friday evening, I know Eastern time, it's like, what, 7 o'clock? After 7, congratulations. You guys are committed. You guys are like the 20% of the 10%. The 10% of the people that got the email came to the challenge, and then the 20% of you that are here Friday night, okay? So here's the deal, everybody. Here's the deal. Today is Mastery Day, and today we're going to bring it all together, and I'm going to talk about the concepts of mastery and the things that I personally do and don't do to become a master at certain things in my life, okay? And one of the things I want to remind you of, because some of you, I know on the last challenge we did, some people had to leave early, so I want to get some important announcements out of the way right now. On Monday, the 14th, same time, 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern, 5 Mountain, 4 Pacific, we're going to do an Ask Brad Anything Day. How do you guys like that? Ask me anything you want. Now, here's the deal. Me and Jen are going to be in Belize. Believe it or not, we are going to Belize. And what are we doing in Belize? We're actually going to a mastermind event. Now, they don't call it a mastermind. It's an annual event put on by my friends, Russ and Robert, with the real estate guys. They were both here on the challenge, and they actually zoomed in from Belize, and they do an annual event, okay? And when I went to that event in the past, this is where I made relationships, business relationships and friendships with people like Kenny McElroy, Tom Wheelwright, Robert Kiyosaki, Kim Kiyosaki, and they're going to be there with me and Jen in Belize. And so here's the shh. I can't guarantee it, but I'm going to try to get somebody special on the Ask Brad Anything Day as a special guest. And I don't know who it's going to be, but who knows? What if I can get Robert Kiyosaki to come on Monday? Well, how would you feel about that? What if we could get Kim Kiyosaki to come on Monday? What about Kenny McElroy? What about, I don't know. I don't know who else is going to be there. And it might just be me, okay? So I don't want to disappoint you if it's just me, okay? And it might just be me and Jen. But here's the deal. I'm going to be with you. Jen's going to be with you. And maybe I could get somebody else super special and valuable that will give you some more content. And it might be an apartment person and it might not be. Because one of the things I like going to this mastermind is I learn about other things going on. You see, I'm so focused on apartments that every now and then I like to do some other things that follow this framework, okay? So here's the deal, guys. The reason why I introduced this millionaire multifamily framework during this challenge is that you got to constantly be working on these things, okay? So we're going to talk about mastery today, but when you look at mastery in apartment investing, it already involves these first 5 things. Now, there's some additional skills and concepts that you want to master and learn and do, actions you want to take, so that you can become a master of the mindset, okay? You want to become a master of your own mindset. It's so important. You want to become a master of the mechanics, okay? You want to learn the master of the numbers and how things work, of the details, of the nuts and bolts. You want to become a master of the money. Now, you know, the big picture, yeah, you want to master money, and you want to know what's going on with the economy and current events and printing of money and inflation and the big picture. But also with apartment investing, you want to know how we make money. We want to know how we drive up the value, how we cash flow, how we save money. And I talked about those big picture items on Wednesday, okay? But there's 101 ways to make money in apartment buildings. 101 ways to increase the NOI in apartment buildings. And we haven't gotten there yet. Now, those that have been to my trainings before and that are in my different programs, we have covered some of those things, okay? And we're going to cover them again at some point in the future, okay? You got to be the master of the market. You can't possibly focus on every single market in the United States, okay? You can't. And so what I teach my students, what I suggested here during the challenge, is you pick 2 or 3 markets that you're absolutely committed to understanding and ultimately dominating, okay? And then again, I'm going to talk about marketing. You got to become the master of marketing, and we talked about that during this week, okay? And so what I'm going to do now, by the way, is, because I know there's some people on here that maybe missed a few sessions this week, and so what I want to do is I'm going to do a very short Cliff Notes version of what we covered all week, and then we're going to talk a little bit about mastery, and then we're going to bring Krista Lee on, and she's going to give away the prizes for yesterday's homework, okay? So, with all that being said, let's go through the Cliff Notes, okay? And here's where we started way back on Monday, if you remember. Now, this is not in the exact order in which I presented it, but this is the way I want to present it tonight. When we think about mindset mastery, I'm talking about mastery of the mindset. We get screwed up when we think about how we're going to do something, okay? And I got to catch myself with this. Whenever I'm doing something new, or in whether it's a physical sport or challenge, or a business venture, or doing a deal that's bigger than I've ever done before, or getting a different type of loan. Like after 19 years, I'm doing my first bridge loan right now. My first bridge loan that I've ever done, I'm in the middle of doing right now. But I'm not doing one, I'm actually doing 2 for 2 different deals. And so it's easy to get caught up in the trap of the how. How am I going to do this? How is this going to work out? What's going to happen in 3 years? And what I think about is the why. And if you remember from day 1, all successful people have a strong why. Okay, all successful people have a strong why. And so whenever you find yourself getting caught up in the how, or the who, or the what, I try to get that out of my head, because the how, the who, and the what will come later, okay? The why is the most important thing. Like for the students in my program that were with me in April on one of our bus tours, I declared, I am buying this property. I didn't think, how am I going to buy it? Well, I know how, because I've bought 35 other deals before. But I wasn't thinking, well, what do I have to pay? Who's going to be my partner? What type of debt am I going to get? Who's the competition going to be? I didn't start thinking about all that. I just saw the property, and I knew that I wanted to own that property. Okay? So as soon as that burning desire clicked in to buy that property, that triggered in massive, massive action. You know, I'd wake up every day thinking about that deal. I'd wake up every day with passion, with obsession. And then all the pieces started to come together. You know, I'd wake up every day and I'd be like, I got to buy this deal. And then the what would come. Like, what do I need to do today? What actions do I need to do right now that's going to move me closer to that why of owning that deal? And to me, the why of owning this deal was, I need to place multi-million dollars of earned income into real estate so I could have my 4th year in a row of 0 tax. Okay? Now the thing is, I could do that several different ways. I could invest as an LP in somebody else's deal, but why would I want to do that when on day 2 I talked about why to be a GP? Right? Why would I be an LP, which I still do, by the way? But what if I could find a way to be a GP on this deal and put in 7 figures of my own money and still be a GP, so that I could, as a GP or a co-GP, I could like make leveraged return, okay? So my why became, I got to buy this deal because it meets all the criteria in what I look for in a deal. You know, 1970s construction, untouched by the seller since 1971, a blank sheet of paper to come in and do value add improvements. Great demographics, surrounded by single family homes, selling for $300,000 to $500,000, next to a school, next to a church. All the things that I love about a deal was in that deal. So when I saw it, I knew I wanted to buy it. But I also have the financial reasons of saving tax, zero tax 4 years in a row, cash flow. This deal will return between 7 to 10% cash flow, cash on cash. And the upside potential, especially as a GP, where I'm going to take a 20% split of the deal like I've showed you here in the examples all week. Okay, so that's the why. Okay, and now every day we're still moving forward on the how. I found a partner. I got a debt provider. We got a management company. We got our pro forma. We got our PPM. We got our subscription agreements. And that all happened after the why and after I got the deal. Does that make sense, everybody? Let me know you're following me, that makes sense. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, that's how it works. When I wanted to do I had a mentoring session with Grant Cardone, and he said, Brad, you need to be doing bigger and better deals. Bigger and better deals. And he goes, you need to be going and buying these big deals, these Class A deals like I'm buying. And that's when I had the courage, I had the insight to sit down with Charlie Young, with Madeira that we met this week, and many of you have met him before in our masterminds and things like that. And I just approached Charlie and said, hey, Charlie, how many deals could you do at a time? And he said, well, it depends on how much money we could raise. And I said, well, if I could come in as a co-GP and bring in equity into the deal, would that be interesting to you? And he said, yes, it would. So next thing you know, we're doing the city center deal together, and I'm bringing in, millions of dollars of equity. And then we closed that deal, and now we're business partners in that transaction. The same thing about the management company. You heard Dave Marchinkowski with Madeira, now my business partner in property management. This idea happened literally 2 years ago at one of my early mastermind sessions that I have a millionaire multifamily mastermind actually. And we're in Scottsdale, and we're talking about the biggest problems that my advanced students have. And one of them was property management. And Dave and Charlie were there at the mastermind. And by the way, Dave and Charlie come to all of our masterminds. And Charlie said, Brad, you just need to form your own management company. And I'm like, oh shit, that sounds like a lot of work. Again, you know what I was thinking? Where did I go? The how or the why? When I said that sounds like a lot of work, was that a how or a why question? Go ahead, tell me. It was how, right? It was how am I going to do that? How am I going to hire people? How am I going to do that? How am I going to find the time? Okay, there's a reason I'm spending a lot of time on this slide. Because I'm just like you. I get stuck in the how. And then I thought, I got to think about why it's a must for me to come up with a better solution than we currently have for property management. And the why was I saw so many of my students that have been so successful buying deals and making money, and now they're struggling with their third-party management companies. And I'm not saying everybody's struggling, and I'm not saying they're all bad. They're not all bad, but we just wanted something better. And I'm just constantly driven to find a better solution than the status quo, okay? So Dave and Charlie said, Brad, why don't you fly to Lubbock, spend the day with us, and we'll give you kind of the step-by-step recipe for you to get a management company going. And I'm thinking, oh man, I don't know if I'm up for that. I mean, I'm up for coming to Lubbock, but I'm still thinking like, how am I going to do this, right? So I go to Lubbock, and after the first day at lunchtime, we had, here's your first step, here's your second step, here's your third step, here's who you need to hire. And then we went to lunch. And I said, guys, are you just here to help me start a management company? Or is this something we want to do together? And because if we did it together, it'll be a lot easier, and you can leverage you know, my network of students that have all these deals that need third-party management, and I can leverage the fact that you guys have already built a management company and have 15,000 units and have back-end people, payroll, HR, accounting, right, staffing, hiring, best practices, systems, processes, employee handbooks, training, you know, because otherwise I got to create that myself or hire somebody to create it. And when I said that at lunchtime, I'm just going to tell you, Charlie said, hell no, we ain't doing that. And by the end of the day, we agreed that we would work together to form a management company. It's crazy. And now we have 1,500 units already under management, and we have a pipeline to have 3,000. And we haven't even made public announcements about this yet, okay? And we're just taking, you know, one property at a time, our ability to scale, you know, and so we're not going to do what some of the other management companies have done, where they just take everybody on, and then we're in the same boat as everybody else is. Now we can't provide good support, right? So again, the why was there was a problem that needed to be solved, and I was committed to solving that problem. And I never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be partnering with Madeira on a management company. Okay, so honestly, I didn't know I was going to spend this much time on this slide, but this is mastery right here. This is mindset mastery, is focusing on the why. Now, the other part of mindset mastery is really understanding the cash flow quadrant and understanding where you are and where you want to be. So, and when I said where you want to be, I meant that not only metaphorically, like literally, but metaphorically. And Robert's finger is pointing toward the B, okay? So we want to be business owners and investors. And if you're not a full-time business owner or investor yet, my argument to you is that you're making less money than you deserve to make, and you're paying more taxes than you deserve to pay. And the other thing I loved about my mentor, Pete Vargas is brilliant. He's the best in the world at what he does. And I loved what he said. Y'all remember Pete Vargas? Pete said, the rich spend money to save time. The rich spend money to save time. And the poor save money and spend time. So think about that in your life. And I'm constantly thinking about that. You know, I've been blessed and worked hard and been fortunate enough to make a lot of money. And I'm going to die with more than enough money. You know, I already know that. So at this point in my life, I'm thinking about how could I spend money to save time, to collapse time frames, or to save my time, or to do things faster, okay? So when you're thinking about mastery of your mindset, where are you? Are you thinking about the how, or are you thinking about why it's a must? Are you still in that employee and self-employed mentality? Are you spending time to save money? Or are you willing to spend money to save time? Okay? And then finally, when we're thinking about mindset mastery, and these are just a few of the ideas that come to mind when I think about mindset mastery, is are we thinking incrementally or exponentially? Incremental is going to be single-digit changes that over time will keep you stagnant or even go down, okay? If you just think about incremental money, okay, if you increase your net worth 2 or 3% a year and you have most of your money in cash, well, they've printed 40% of all the dollars in circulation were not in circulation 2 years ago. So increasing your net worth by a few percent a year, you're actually going negative. You're going negative. And so I showed you on Wednesday, talked about net worth targets and how you need to commit to doubling 2, 3, 4, or 5xing your net worth every 5 years. And that requires exponential thinking, exponential actions, thinking about your why, okay? Being obsessed, not being average, okay? That's what it takes. That's what it takes to be a master of the mindset. And then on day one, I'm still on day one recapping, by the way, I brought on my friend Robert Helms. and I'm going to go see Robert in Belize. Okay, and I'm speaking at Robert's event. Here's the deal. Pete Vargas is my mentor now. He has been for, 6 months. And Pete told me, he goes, Brad, like, you need to leverage everybody else's stage as much as you can. He goes, look at how much time and money it cost you and Jen to do your own events. This challenge, the rat race events, the AIM NatCons. And he goes, you need to be leveraging other people's stages. So we have other people's money, right? Other people's time, other people's experience. Well, in my business, he's like, you need to be leveraging other people's stages. And at first, we weren't going to go to Belize because honestly, right now, it's a pain in the ass. You got to show a COVID test, a negative COVID test. You got to be tested to get back in the country. I have these hang-ups. Like, what if I, test positive and I'm coming back into the U.S. and I got to quarantine in some government, facility in Belize City? I mean, and again, I'm thinking about the how. And then when I told Robert I wasn't coming, he goes, bummer. Kim Kiyosaki's going to be there. I know you want an introduction. I had you speaking, in front of 200 people. It's a great opportunity to present AIM NatCon in front of these people. And I'm like sitting there going like this, I gotta go, right? Like, you gotta make it happen. Remember I talked about the 3 types of people. You're either driving the bus, you're on the bus, or you miss the bus. Well, I almost missed the Belize bus. So I got on the bus and I'm going to be driving part of that bus because I'm going to be on their faculty, just like I have faculty. Okay? And then Monday, we also talked not only about mindset, but we talked about mechanics. And by the way, this is a picture at our last mastermind. Dave is on the right, and Dave came in and talked about property management. He talked about mechanics on Monday. And then Charlie on the left, we all know and love Charlie. He talked about dominating the frickin' market on Thursday. Okay? And now the guy next to Jen is Jeff Lowry, and he runs, he reports to Dave, and he's the COO of Madeira Residential Property Management, and Dave's the partner of the company. So, again, these folks are my business partners now. Never in my wildest dreams, like, how this all started? I saw Charlie in the lobby of my building in Dallas, Texas. Me and Charlie live in the same high-rise building. Some of you have been to my rooftop, by the way. If you've been to my rooftop, blow it up. Come on, Guthrie. Come on, Ruth. Come on, John. Blow it up. If you've been to my rooftop, blow it up. Okay? And you know who you are, and you know what I'm talking about. So I meet Charlie in the elevator. And I have a mastermind event coming up. And they say you need to have an elevator pitch. Well, this is part of marketing we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about this in marketing. You need to have an elevator pitch. What if you're raising money for a deal and you see somebody that could be a good fit, and let's just assume that it's SEC compliant, and we're going to cover that, at AIM NatCon. And the person that might be a great fit for the investor is in the elevator with you. And you got 30 seconds to talk to them about your deal. What are you going to do? Are you not going to say anything? Are you going to miss the bus? Remember the 3 types of people. Are you going to miss the bus? Are you going to drive the bus? Or are you going to get on the bus? Well, you're on the elevator, so you're on the bus. So you're going to get off the bus without saying anything? Or are you going to say something? So it was during that 30 seconds that I said, Charlie, Brad Sumrock. Yeah, Brad, I know you. I've seen you around. I said, great. I know I don't have a lot of time here, so we're doing a mastermind in Scottsdale. I'd love to bribe you to speak. Put you in front of my audience, give you exposure to my tribe. I'm thinking, like, what's in it for him, right? And I got 30 seconds. I didn't have this prepared. And then I'm like, and I'll fly you first class, and I'll put you up at the finest suite at the Phoenician. And he was like, well, if my wife doesn't have anything going on that weekend, or if she's out of town, I'm in. And I said, great, it's September 19th through 21st. And he goes, oh, my wife's going to be in Barcelona. What else do I have? Nothing. I don't have anything else going on. Sure, I'll go. And that 30-second elevator pitch, 2 years later, we're doing City Center deal. I'm a co-GP in the deal. We formed a management company together, and they're faculty members of our mastermind. Dave and Charlie have committed to be at every one of our mastermind meetings. And so you got to be ready. You got to be the master of marketing. You got to have your elevator pitch, John. You never know when you're going to run into that person. Mike O'Reilly, Mike Guthrie, Jonathan Pearson, you need to have your pitch. And we're going to talk about it. Damon John, by the way, look, Damon John's a shark on the Shark Tank. Do you think he's going to be able to teach us at AIM-NatCon how to pitch in 60 seconds? In fact, I'm thinking about asking him to talk about that. Hey, Damon, we're all apartment investors. How do we improve our pitch in the shortest amount of time so that we can get people to invest with us? How do we do that? And what do we need to be doing on our social media platforms? You know, our email campaigns, our in-person marketing, how we talk to people, how we pitch somebody on an elevator. If you don't think you need to know that, you're never going to be a millionaire apartment investor unless, of course, you just partner with somebody that's an expert marketer. Okay? And maybe you don't have to be the master of everything yourself, but you need to build a team where everybody's a master of something. Okay? So earlier on day 2, we talked about the mechanics of being a GP, and we talked about the 3 ways to invest. Remember, we talked about buying your own deal with your own money, and I used the base case of a $10 million deal. In that $10 million deal, we need $3 million of equity and $7 million of debt. And we assumed that that deal was going to spit off 10% cash return, which is $300,000 a year. And then we assumed in year 5 we could sell it for a 50% gain on our equity. So we put $3 million in and we sell it in year 5 and get $1.5 million. Do y'all remember those assumptions for that base case? So we went through the returns of if you buy that deal with your own money. And then we compared being an LP or a passive investor to a deal sponsor or GP. And I've summarized it here for you. Okay, the passive, you're going to get 80% of the 10%. So on a $50,000 a year, a $50,000 capital investment for a passive investor, a 10% return would be $5,000, but you're giving up 20% of that 10% to the GP. So instead of getting $5,000, you're getting $4,000. And then when you put up your $50,000 and you get a 50% return in 5 years, that would be $25,000, but you're giving up 20% of that to the GP. So here's the deal. As an LP, you're going to get $4,000 a year, so that's $20,000. And then when you sell, you're going to get another $20,000. And so your $50,000, you'll get that back, and then you'll get a profit of another $40,000. And that's a pretty good return, by the way. That's like a 16% average annualized return for being totally passive. And just to be clear, there have been people that have become multi-millionaire apartment investors just from being passive investors. But it's taken them a little longer. It's taken them a little longer. And some of us don't have the time. Some of us don't have the luxury of time to wait. We have needs financially right now. How many of you have financial needs right now that you don't want to wait, 10 years to become a millionaire as a passive investor? You want to do this within 2 to 3 year period of time. Let me raise your hand. Yeah, I know you, Mike Guthrie. Who else? Sean Griffith, I know you too. Who else? Who else doesn't want to wait 10 years to become a millionaire as a passive investor? So here's the deal. By being a GP, you're going to get maybe an acquisition fee. You're still going to get your cash return like a passive. You'll get 20% of the cash flow if you structure it that way. You'll get an asset management fee. You'll get a return on your capital at sale, and you also get the GP split. So in a deal where the passive investor would make $40,000 on a $50,000 investment, a GP on the same deal would make $860,000 on a $50,000 investment. That is how you 10 times your money. Okay, remember we had this. That is how you 10 times your money, is by being a GP. Now, if you're a co-GP, then you're going to need to divide that up. So if there's 2 of you doing the GP, then you split that. If there's 3 of you, maybe you divide it into thirds. Okay? But still, it's substantially more than being an LP. So that's why so many people want to get in as a co-GP in their deals. Now, then we shifted, and I'm still on day 2. We shifted, and we had Russell Gray talk about building your brand and building your network. How did you guys think of Russ Gray? What did you think of his content? Because I'm bringing Russ back for AIM NatCon, and he's going to have a longer session. Okay? So he's really going to talk about the mechanics of marketing. He's very mechanical, by the way. He's very mechanical. Where Pete Vargas, by the way, is not mechanical. Pete emotes very well, means he's very emotional, right? Pete is going to teach you marketing from the heart, and he's going to teach you how to speak clearly to make your message matter more, and how to sell better, how to sell yourself, your investments, your deals. And Russ is going to teach similar concepts, but he's going to teach it from a more analytical viewpoint, okay? So if you're right-brained or left-brained, you're going to have 2 instructors at AIM NatCon teaching you a little bit more about marketing. Now, the other thing you need to do as a GP is you need to learn how to raise money legally. Now, I didn't post this yet, and I decided I'm going to do it this weekend. So I interviewed Gene Trowbridge for 20 minutes. And Gene is one of the top securities attorneys in the United States. And he has a book that he wrote. He's a certified commercial investment member instructor. I met Gene in 2008. He's 72 years young, and he's been doing this a hell of a long time. So everybody that comes to AIM NatCon, again, you're going to get Gene's book. And I'm going to post Gene's video for you this weekend for you to watch a 20 or 30-minute interview of me and Gene talking about what's happening with securities law right now, okay? So that's what's going to happen there. Now, on day 3, we talked about the multifamily ROI. We talked about making money, and we talked about saving money. So with making money, we talked about cash flow, okay? I asked you for the homework to come up with your financial freedom number. Your financial freedom number is how much monthly cash flow do you need to live off of so that you don't have to work anymore, so that you don't have to work anymore unless you want to. So here's the example. When I had a job and I wanted to quit my job, I was earning $10,000 a month. So my initial financial freedom number back in 2002 was $10,000 a month. And I was able to meet and exceed that number in just 3 years after investing in apartment buildings. So you all came up with your financial freedom number. Then we talked about being a GP and setting net worth targets, right? What is your net worth today? And what are you committed to growing your net worth? And I showed you some exponential charts. And part of your homework was who's committed to 2xing their net worth in 5 years, 3xing your net worth in 5 years, 4xing your net worth in 5 years. And I showed you mine and Jennifer's, and we got a lot of responses from you guys on that. And then finally, we had my good friend Tom Wheelwright come up and talk about how to reduce or eliminate taxes. And everybody loves Tom. I love him. He's such a great teacher. And every time I hear Tom speak, I love him even more and more, and I love his content. And Tom is going to be at AIM NatCon in person too, and everybody that comes is going to get a copy of his book, okay? Maybe not a signed copy, but you're going to get a copy of the book, and I'm going to buy it for you. So that's what we did on day 3. And then if you remember, I showed you a chart like this. This is just to reiterate. If you have a net worth of $500,000 and you 2.5x it every 5 years, in 20 years you could go from $500,000 to $20 million. You can't do that in corporate America, putting money in your 401k and your IRA. So you have a choice. You could keep doing it, and for those of you, I know many of you are already on my path that I teach, right? But some of you are still out there thinking like, oh, apartments are risky. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Although if you're still here on Friday, I don't think any of you think that at this point. Whoever thought that, they jumped off on Monday. They were like, this guy's full of shit. We're out of here on Monday. But those of you that are here today, I know you don't think that. So here's the deal. The way you're going to get rich is by continuing to exponentially grow your net worth, okay? It's not by putting it in your 401k. And you really need to focus on reducing or eliminating your taxes, especially as you make more money. Don't make the same mistake I did. In 2002, I bought my first apartment building. In 2004, I became a millionaire. That was the first time my net worth crossed $1 million. Okay? And I showed you my net worth progression. In 2016, I was paying $965,000 in tax. And I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. But I learned a better way because I was committed to continuous and never-ending improvement. I know that I'm still learning. Okay, I know that I haven't made it yet. Now, I know some of you might look at me and said, yeah, Brad, you've made it. But look, I don't want to say this, but like, I don't know if I'll ever sit there and say, yeah, I've made it. Because once I say, yeah, I've made it, then I lose the hunger, I lose the drive, I lose the passion. I lose the desire to continue to grow and to learn. And that's not something that, it is something that could be taught. It's a behavior that could be learned, okay? So then we had Tom come on, and he shared some things with you about that. And then yesterday was day 4. And I talked about my recipe for selecting the right market. And just to recap that, it's if you follow this guideline on this slide, you're going to stack the odds in your favor, okay? Buy in a landlord and business-friendly environment. Buy in an area where cap rates are at least average nationally, or if they're, nationally all the cap rates are coming down. So I do keep track of local cap rates versus national cap rates. We heard Charlie talk about jobs and population, okay? Charlie came on and said, look, inflation will help you. And the way inflation is going to help you is job growth inflation and population growth inflation. And you can make some missteps along the way if you have these tailwinds, okay? But if you're going into a market with headwinds, like with the winds blowing at you, it's not going to be so forgiving. And the wind's blowing at you when you have no job growth, no population growth, and what Charlie called a one-trick pony town. You don't want to go into a market that has one major employer, one major university, one major chemical plant, one major military base. And if something happens to that one employer, the whole economy goes to haywire, okay? So those are the things that we talked about. Now here's the thing. When I'm talking about mastery, everything that I recapped is part of mastery. See, there was a reason I recapped. Mastery involves repetition. I'll say it again. Mastery involves repetition. The more you hear something, the better you understand it. Okay? If you just hear it one time and you're not doing it, you don't master it. Okay? You could know something in your head, but to know something is actually to do it. Okay? And to do it well. So if you learned it, you haven't mastered it. Okay? The way you master is by repeating things over and over and over again. And so mastery is the multiplier. That's the secret. All 5 of these things we need to become masters in. So if we look at, I looked up the definition of mastery, okay? Well, number 1, it's a comprehensive knowledge or skill in a certain subject. So how many of you want comprehensive knowledge and skill in multifamily investing? Blow up the screen now. Do you want it? Are you committed to having it? Blow it up. Okay. Number 2, mastery could be defined as control or superiority over someone or something. Do we want to have control or superiority of multifamily investing? You know, maybe over your competition? Maybe within a market? I do. Okay. And number 3, mastery could be defined as having the upper hand in a contest or competition. And so here's the deal. We can't be masters in everything, but we could be masters in a few things. I'm really enjoying The Queen's Gambit right now. It's a Netflix show. Has anyone watched The Queen's Gambit? Have you all watched it? So here's one of my vices, by the way. I like to chill out after 9 o'clock and watch Netflix. Okay, I don't watch regular TV. I don't watch the constant negative news network. I don't watch sitcoms. But after 9 o'clock, I turn on Netflix. And I've watched Game of Thrones. I've watched The Crown. I've watched Breaking Bad. I've watched Frontier. And now I'm in the middle of The Queen's Gambit. So do not tell me how it ends. Do not tell me how it ends, or you'll be excommunicated from my life. Okay? So here's the deal. Beth is a master of chess. She is obsessed, right? She's obsessed. She was obsessed when she was 9. She didn't take no for an answer. Okay? So how do you become a master? And she's not a master at everything. Okay? So here's the deal. In life, you have a choice to make. What is it that you want to become a master in? And you could probably choose just a few things. Okay? Like for me personally, I'll tell you what my choices are, is I want to be a master apartment investor and educator. And those are 2 different things, by the way. And I want to be a master apartment investor, and I want to be a master apartment mentor and educator. Okay? Number 2 is I want to master my own physical body. And number 3, I hope to be a master of in relationships and being a master of being a good husband. Okay? Those are the 3 things. Okay? And you know, if I could do that, I think I'm going to have a really fulfilling and happy life. Okay? So, you know, and when I say my physical body, I also mean my health. Being a master of health and energy and vitality and taking care of my physical vessel on this planet. Okay? So, how do you become a master? And I learned this from one of my mentors, Tony Robbins. Okay? There's a science to becoming a master. There's steps to follow. So I'm going to compare my experience with Tony Robbins right now. So Tony does events, and he calls them immersion events. Has anyone ever been to a Tony Robbins event? They go from like 8 in the morning until 2 in the morning. They're exhausting. They're fun, they're high energy, but they're exhausting. Okay? There's no lunch break, there's no dinner break. He like breaks you, I think he does it on purpose. But he's like, hey, I'm going to get you together for 4 or 5 days, and we're going to go hard, balls to the wall, right? We're going to play hard and work hard. because that creates some neurological pathways, and then you remember what you're learning, right? And you go through a period of emotions of confusion and frustration. But, you know, I've been going to Tony Robbins events now for years, and I'll go to several a year. And so I'll go to an event and I'll have this amazing immersion experience and get all this content and connection. And then in between the events, I'm repeating what I've learned, okay, either by listening to his trainings or connecting with other people from Tony Robbins or getting on Zoom meetings and stuff like that, okay? It's like the same in the Sunrock program. You know, we have an immersion experience at the Rat Race events. By the way, we have another immersion experience coming up with AIM NatCon. Okay, it's going to be a 3-day event, maybe 4 for some of you that are platinums. It's going to be an immersion experience. You're going to be away from home. You're going to be immersed with other people that are on the same journey. And then you're going to go home and you're going to learn and practice the things that you've learned. Okay? And then some of you will come back for more events that we do. Okay? That's a recipe for becoming a master. Okay? Number 2 is you need to have proximity to mentors and their mentors. One of the things I love about going to Tony's events is I'm not just learning from Tony. I'm learning from Tony's team. I'm learning from his trainers and coaches. I'm learning from his advisors, people like Master Co that teaches meditation and spirituality, and I'm learning from, you know, Sadhguru who teaches meditation, and I'm learning from Joseph McClendon who teaches motivation and inspiration and peak performance. And when I'm in Tony's group, I have proximity to his team. And so you want to have proximity to your mentors and their mentors. So again, like, yes, I am drawing the analogy to AIM NatCon, because at AIM NatCon, those that are there are going to have more proximity with me. But not only me, you're going to have proximity to the team of people that I'm learning from. Some are going to be in person, some are going to be virtual, but you want to have the proximity to people 1 or 2 or 3 levels above you in that which you hope to achieve, okay? Number 3, you need to have a community of peers and accountability. And that's another thing I love about, you know, the Tony Robbins world, is that we go to these immersive experiences. We have, trainings in between. We have proximity to Tony and his mentors and his team and his coaches and his trainers and his advisors. But we also have a community of event attendees. And we're all on the same journey together. And I'll tell you, for me, I get as much or more out of the community of peers that I do from the mentors and the instructors. Okay? And it's the same thing in the Sunrock ecosystem. For those coming to AIM NatCon, there's going to be 300 or 400 people in the room that are just as committed as you are, that are willing to immerse themselves and shut off their phones and shut off Facebook and Instagram, except for posting selfies, sharing about their experience at the event. But seriously, they're going to be there just like you, and then you're going to find accountability partners. And you're going to find people to invest with you and to maybe do deals together, okay? So it's important to have that community of peers and accountability. It happens organically when you put yourself in these experiences. And then finally, it's this mindset that I didn't talk about yet. We talked about the exponential mindset. We talked about the business owner investor mindset. But we didn't talk about the mindset of continuous and never-ending improvement, constant and never-ending improvement. And so for those that are committed to continue to master their mindset and grow and their skill set, the mechanics, how to better control and dominate markets and build your teams in those markets, how to constantly and improve your marketing, okay, and your understanding of how to make money and save money, that is what it takes to be a master This is what it takes to be a millionaire multifamily investor. So Tony Robbins says again, who you spend time with is who you become. Who you spend time with is who you become. And I'm just going to mention one more time, I know so many of you have bought the tickets, but some of you, you're still emailing my team. And you're like, hey Brad, should I come to this event? What am I really going to learn? What you're going to learn is this. It's going to be an immersive 3 or 4 day experience. You're going to have proximity to me and my mentors. You're going to build a community of people and meet, accountability partners. And we're going to learn more tools for your mindset, for your analytical skills, for dominating markets, for being a better marketer, okay, and for understanding how money works. Big picture stuff and with apartments. So this is the deal. After today, the prices that you see here are the prices. Now up until today, you could still get them at a discount. Okay, so after today, no more 97, no more 297, no more 797. Jay and Neander back there, can you guys hear me? Yeah. Y'all make sure after today, you change the website and you change the pricing to these yellow numbers on the screen. All right? So that is the steps to mastery. That is the invitation I have for you. Continue, if those of you that have already been with me, continue the journey in AIM NatCon. Those that are new, be there and start the journey, because if you wait a year from now, I guarantee you, you're going to wish you had started today. So with that, Krista Lee is going to come up and give away the prizes from yesterday's homework, and then me and Jen are going to come back and say goodnight to everybody. And here comes Krista Lee. Let's go.
Yeah. Awesome. Hi, everybody. I can't believe that it's already day 5, the last day of this free challenge.
Did I step on you?
Amazing and awesome to see everybody, and for everybody to be on this challenge. I've learned a lot, and I'm excited that we're all on this journey together. And that we're going to see, looks like most of you, at our July event. So that's awesome, way to go. All right, so let's get to it. Yesterday's homework was your top 3 markets of where you're committed to investing in. And we have 3 winners. Brett Hadley, woohoo, Brett Hadley, way to go, Brett. All right, and Guillermo Lopez, way to go, Guillermo, yeah. Last but not least, we have David Norden, way to go, you guys, way to go. So this has been amazing, awesome, just our hearts are full, and thank you all for spending this evening every evening this week with us. And remember that Brad is doing Ask Brad Anything Monday, same time, same place, same channel. So thank you all so much. Woohoo! Wow, and let's give it up. Come on, Brad, Jen, yeah! Woohoo!
Can you believe it? 5 days, awesome guys. Woo!
Yeah!
All right, Ruth still has her pom-poms, I love it. Oh, there's John, all right, woo! All right, Michael, Riley, Rebecca.
Way to go, everybody.
All right, Sabina, woo! Yeah.
Congratulations.
Sharon and Dan, Mike.
Let's go.
Jerry,
Let's go.
Jonathan,
Let's
David,
go.
Brett
Let's
Hadley,
go.
Bonnie,
Let's go.
Bonnie Staples.
Let's go.
Woo!
Let's go.
Rick Garcia, Linda,
Let's go. Let's go.
Monday,
Let's
Guillermo, woo!
Go. Let's go.
You're all winners for showing up for 5 days. I'm
Let's
so
go.
excited to hear about
Let's
all your
go.
successes. You guys are
Let's
amazing.
go. Let's
All
go. Let's go. All right, folks. We're going to see you. I'm going to see you on Monday. Me and Jen will be there
All right.
from Belize.
Yes.
from Belize, and maybe we're gonna have a special guest. So see you guys Monday.
All right.
Bye for now.
All right, see you guys.
Woo-hoo!
See you, Cindy. See you, Sean.